Now before we start off the actual video, let's go get the reward that we missed in Bolivia. What you want to do is you want to go onto the right side of this room, and there is the reward. Now it's worth mentioning that if you die, you will have to get the rewards again, which is not nice at all. It's actually very rude.
Go ahead.
I was right. It was a secret Soviet project from the 50s called Carbonek. The laboratory was studying an ancient sword fragment, but some mysterious disaster brought the KGB down, and they erased it all from history. Almost.
There seems to be trouble below.
You got there right on time.
Or a little late. Those are Rutland's men attacking the Kazakhs.
Or Amanda's. Most likely she's the one behind this. The lab is somehow connected to that military base, but we don't know how. If you can find the command center, we might get a better idea. Now, after the firefight dies down, you should try to...
Oh, come now, Zip. Waiting is for the patient.
I always like that part where it says, waiting is for the patient. Whee! Splat! Made you look.
Very nice, Lara, but you've just leapt from the frying pan into a nest of hornets.
Now unfortunately, Meanie Beanie will not be co-commentating with me in this video. I'm all alone. There's nobody here beside me. There is another gun turret thingy-majigger that we could use, so, which is awesome because there are explosives everywhere. It's also worth mentioning that this area is a nightmare on hard mode. Meanie Beanie and I have never been able to beat this area on hard mode, so good luck for everybody who's playing this on hard mode. I'm playing this on normal mode if I haven't mentioned it already. There's a reward over here. There's tons. The rewards to this level look like circly shiny things. And as we all know from Tomb Raider Anniversary, shiny is not our friend. Unless it's a reward that gives you unlockables. Then it's okay. Now it's also worth mentioning that there's a new weapon we can get in this area, the grenade launcher. The grenade launcher gives you a few more grenades to work with. I've never really personally liked using it because it's actually kind of difficult to aim with it. And the grenades just aren't all that awesome in this game. Slow motion destruction. Anywho, as always, it's a good idea to go outside and make sure you pick up some ammunition, grenades, health packs, all the usual stuff. Now, this level is actually one of my more favorite levels in this game. It's not my absolute favorite, and I'll get into the reason why in the next video. Well, probably the video after that. It depends on all I do in the next video, if things go smoothly and stuff. Which, as you know by now, almost never happens, because almost everything that I plan out never happens, because that's just the way my Let's Plays work. I'm a horrible person. There's another gun turret right there. I don't like using that at all, because all these enemies have grenades, especially that guy right there who has a grenade launcher. The grenades are using the big gun thing in the middle of a bunch of enemies that have grenades is not the best combination. Now, there's another reward in there. There's actually two ways you can get into this. The way you were intended to do it was to blow that thing up and explode the gate. But there's also some crate things you can jump on the right side of this, area. And I personally just like making the thing explode because explosions are fun.
You are American?
British. And it looks like we share an enemy. Where's your command center?
Не отвечай ей! Что здесь нужно? Погоди! Если она использует код исключата, сработает тревога, и центр придет на подмогу! Это что? Мы здесь охраняем только снег и звериную мочу, или ты хочешь сам идти? Through the gate! The code is K1879.
Спасибо. Пожелайте мне удачи.
I always love that part where they speak their own language because they think she's not going to understand it, then she turns around and speaks their language. That was always hilarious.
Lovely. That keeps things simple, doesn't it?
If you really want to, you can use the gun turret, but like I said earlier, I don't like using it because these guys have grenades, and it's not exactly the best thing ever to be using something like that where you can't move at all. And, well, you can move a little bit, but you can't really use it, and there's a bunch of grenades everywhere, and it's not the best time of our life. Now this hill right here, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Let's just go on a merry way. You saw nothing. But in all seriousness, there are two barrel things there's two sets of barrels that are going to fall down that hill. So you want to make both of them explode. Objectively, you can run on the side of this hill, out of the way of those things, but I was just like making them explode, simply because explosions are fun, like I keep saying throughout this entire video. Now, on very rare occasions, there could be a health pack and maybe some guns back here. One time when I was playing through this level, there was a health pack and an assault rifle, and I was all like, huh, there aren't any enemies over here. Oh well, I'll take it.
Satellite photos? We got our own. There's nothing there.
The lab wouldn't be visible from above. We need maps. There it is.
Oof, that's a hike.
I'm not walking. There's a military transport train that runs past the lab. It looks like Amanda's boys are ahead of me. I'd better run.
Whoops. Satellite feed showing your train's about to roll. You better run. Fast.
You know, this isn't the first time Lara has broken into a military base. In Tomb Raider 3, she broke into Area 51 to get one of the meteorite remains things that she was collecting in that game. Speaking of Tomb Raider 3, that's a really fun game. I'd love to let's play that game someday, but as with all my let's plays, but I'm gonna stick to my rule of thumb where I don't let's play a game until after I've beaten it. The only exception to that was The Legend of Zelda 4 Sword, and with that game I was experimenting with the idea of let's playing a game that was just recently released, even though that game was released a few years ago. Even though Zelda 4 Sword was released a few years prior to me let's playing that game, it was re-released for the DSiWare, and I was experimenting with the idea of let's playing a game that was recently released. Motorcycles are amazing! This is the second and unfortunately last motorcycle segment in the game. There's actually going to be one in Japan where you'd be chasing Takamoto through the Japanese highway, which sounded really cool, but it got removed because of time constraints, because apparently highways are too awesome for the Xbox to handle. Anywho, this motorcycle segment, it plays pretty much identically to the one in Japan, Peru, where we have to keep going, because if we slow down at all, If we slow down at all, then we're gonna lose the. Then we're gonna get a game over. In Peru, Anaya would have died if you slow down, and here, if you slow down at all, Amanda will get the artifact, and that's not always fun. Uh, it's always a good idea to try and get them close to the explosive tanks so that you can make them blow up, but it's really hard to pull that off, so good luck if you're going to try and do that. The guys in the white shirts, I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, but they have shotguns, and the shotgun does more damage when it's up close, so you want to keep your distance away from the enemies with the white shirts.
They let loose a few cars and they're blocking the tunnel. But I think I saw a car off to the right ahead.
Now, this area is so much fun because we're riding along a cliff, and it's especially fun to ride on the edge of it because you feel all daredevil and stuff. But you also want to be very careful because it's very easy to die in this area, especially if you're reckless like I am, where you're driving very close to the edge. I didn't do that while recording because I'm not stupid. Well, most of the time.
Zip, I never show off.
Now, I also don't think I've ever mentioned this before, but you have to defeat a certain amount of enemies to progress into the next area. I'll be putting captions on screen, telling you how many enemies that you have to defeat to get into the next area. Don't worry, if you die, you won't have to start the entire thing over because there are plenty of checkpoints in this area. So if you die, you obviously go back to the checkpoint. Now right there is a new enemy. That is a guy on a car. The cars, they do more damage if you bump into them, so you want to keep your distance from them. They also vary between what type of enemies are on top of the car, like the guys in the white t-shirt, the guys in the white shirts. So they'll always have a shotgun when they're on top of the car. You want to be very careful with them because they are pretty irritating, especially considering the fact that they have more HP, they have more health than most of the enemies during these motorcycle segments. I'm really sad that they didn't have more of these motorcycle segments throughout the game, especially in Anniversary, because the scene where Laura chases Natla, that would have been perfect, but they didn't do it because Crystal Dynamics is not awesome enough. They had some of these in Underworld, if I remember correctly, and the one in Mexico was really fun. And I'm not quite sure if they have these in the most recent Tomb Raider game. I don't think they do, which makes me really sad because motorcycles are amazing, like I pointed out a second ago. I'm really hoping that the next Tomb Raider game plays more like this one because I don't know, something about the latest Tomb Raider game, something about it just doesn't really spark my interest as much as other Tomb Raider games. I think it's because of the fact that it's geared more towards the people who play games like Uncharted, and to me, I prefer Tomb Raider over Uncharted any day. So it kind of made me upset when I heard that the next Tomb Raider game was going to be playing more like Uncharted. But because of how successful that game was, the next Tomb Raider game is definitely going to be playing more like the most recent one, and I'd be okay with that just as long as it's on the Wii U. Yay, more cliffs that we're riding on and stuff. And why does Laura take damage from driving into those things? I'm not complaining. It's always fun to drive through them because it breaks, and breaking stuff is fun. And this upcoming part is stuck. Go! We're on a motorcycle and we're going up, and we're driving up, and we're jumping over a train. Motorcycles and trains are awesome enough, but when you're jumping over a train on a motorcycle, that is cool. Yeah, I love this part right here. This part is awesome. It's epic and amazing. It's tough! And with that, we're gonna end this video off here. So, next time on Tomb Raider Legend, we're gonna be going through the military base. And until next time, we're geared to you. Oh yeah.
I feel like I just lived through a train wreck. How about you? Undoubtedly.
Amanda's already inside, and the door's sealed.
So now what?
There's a vent on the wall to the right of the cargo door. The fan's running. She's got the power on.
How will you get in?
One way or another.